something. Okay, so we got 24 people in the house. And I guess we got sound. Let me see. Do we have sound? Yeah. We got sound. All right. So I missed a few people. Kia ora. That's a New Zealand statement, isn't it? Mariana Teopira. Mary Cooper's here, the number one. Karen Went. Laurel Gale. Angel Divine. Ivania down in Tasmania. I got to see if she's back on. We got to get her on. She's dynamite. Terry Doro, longtime friend and supporter. Susan Curtis. God, why can't I see? I got glasses on, man. Sabrina Mick. Eternity Morton. Kumara Ford, our sister down in Florida. Crazy goddess. Kim Atkins. Thank you, Kim, for your continued love and support and contributions and everyone else. To keep us being able to do what we're doing. Susan Kotraba, Terry Willette, longtime supporter, Brendan RB, Aaron Taylor Peterson, who did I miss? Maria Iverson, Brad Clemmer, Kenton Turner. I saw you had a birthday the other day. I'm sorry I didn't send you a note. Happy birthday. That's a powerful divine masculine. Alexa Freeberg, Sandra Coopers, Angelia LaRue, Deborah Janine, and Vera Slater. Yes. Okay. So we're going to formally roll the show out. Hi, Laura West. So back by popular demand, 7 days, 7 days after her initial, after popping her cherry. Oh my God, I am out of control today. So hey, you know what? One good thing about April Lloyd coming on, I don't got to do a lot of talking because I don't think I can do a lot of talking today. It's been a hell of a ride, man. And so thank you for coming back. I look so forward to meeting you when Morgan gets here and flying over to the Big Island or vice versa, and spending some time together and doing something in the physical, you know, as well as the etherical, you know, on the internet. So thank you for coming back. I'm looking forward to today's show. Thank you for honoring us with your presence, sharing space with us today. I'll hand it over to you.
Well, first off, I just want to say something, Todd. I got to say that the other day, I forget which day it was, but it wasn't very long ago, I watched you do this beautiful rendition of what Soulogy means to you with these three other people on a different website broadcast thing on YouTube. And I was so happy for you. I was like a mom proud of a son. I was just like all elated. It was so fantastic to hear you speak about how this all came to be. And as they asked you questions and did an interview on what this is to you and how it came to be and all that stuff that I had no idea about. It was very informative. And I tried to share it and it wouldn't let me share it. I'm not sure why, but it said when I pushed share on the video from the YouTube, but I'll figure that out with you one day. But that was so good. I was like I felt like the energy of a mom, very proud of a son of God. I was so elated watching that to find out how Soulogy came to be. And it was so uplifting.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I think,
I was just going to say, I just want to say this because I really, really want to stress this. I did appreciate the Tom, the one guy, because I know the other two people. Augie's been on a lot. I've known Maury for a long time. She's been involved in Soulogy for a long time, back in the infancy when there was like 4,000 people and stuff. But anyway, you know, he wanted to know, like, how did this all start? So this was in the physical and the linear timeline 3 years before I met Morgan. But like I said, I received that name and definition on Morgan's birthday 3.5 years before I'd meet her. I later on found out and realized that her and I, as I learned how everything worked, that her and I actually birthed this thing prior to 2012 in the etheric. You know, we birthed this golden child long before we physically became conscious of each other. You know, I guess what I'm saying is, it was
so informative. It was so beautiful to listen to that. And then to read her statement today about you guys merging, it gives a girl hope that there's this energy field that I'm playing with this energy field on a regular basis in my own life. And I'm wondering about it. And sometimes, like I said, I thought it was my imagination until the guy came on and talked about what imagination really is, which helped me see myself as just a more real being while I'm wearing a physical form. Like
Yeah.
I had thought I was an incarnated angel, but I didn't know if I was an incarnated angel. I thought my mind had made that up. But as I began watching your shows and seeing other people have this platform to share not who they are, but what they are and what it is their purpose feels right in the world. And I just knew that if I got the chance to meet you, which I didn't think I ever really would, actually, until Morgan invited me on. And I'm like, oh, lovely little me, I'm going on the show. Oh, shit, never been on Facebook,
Well,
and all this other stuff.
And that's my
But
point.
it was something so good about it. It was so confirmed. It was so affirmative of who I am, not really who the name of April, but what I am as a whole being. A being that's wearing a body, but still in the wholeness and not separated from source. And sometimes, of course, I feel separated from source because the world can get you down. It can drag you a little bit the wrong way. But if you pull yourself back up and you do your own inner work and look at those shadows as to why you feel like that, you can clean it up pretty quickly. At least I've been able to clean it up little by little. And I just feel blessed that I get to share. Oh, and when you said that the date, March the 10th, it was like so significant to me because March the 10th, 1983, my son was 13 months old and I totally decided to be completely sober. I've never smoked pot or drank or anything since 36 years ago. And I go, sometimes can't believe that long has gone by that I chose sobriety for myself and sometimes replaced it with other things instead of my flow with the higher source. Other times I've had, this addiction stuff show up in other ways. Trying to manage being in a body while I'm here. But that date, when you said it, I was like, oh, wow, there's something about that significant then to me meeting this brother on the planet, that my actual birth date is March the 10th for my sobriety. And I have all these years sober.
That's her birthday.
Right. You said it was her birthday.
Yeah, it's Morgan's birthday.
It's my sobriety birthday. It's not my birthday is May 3rd, but my sobriety birthday is March the 10th. And I just was like, oh my goodness, I have so even, it's just something about it was interesting.
Yeah, there is something to this, what's happening. And I just want to reiterate one more time too. I'm just, I'm out here every day. I'm the face, but that's just one role in Soulogy. Morgan found you and many other people. There's, she's got a role, obviously. It's a 50-50 deal, and Michael Van Patten stepping in now. There's a couple other people stepping in. We're caretakers of this energy. And so I just, sometimes, I'm out there in the front all the time and it's not me. I'm just a servant. But I wanted to say too, that these synchronicities, like you were getting about the March 10th thing, they're really coming in now, right? I'm talking to a friend of mine yesterday. I'm talking to a friend of mine, Tom Whitebear. First time I ever talked to him on the phone yesterday morning, I talked to him for 2 hours. And he starts telling me about his journey. One of his best friend is Shekinah Rose. And if you've never heard Shekinah Rose, she'll be coming on again soon. She's a very dear sister like you are. She does harmonic light language at 532 hertz or something like it's just mind-blowing. But so he was telling me about a journey that they took from Florida to Sedona when she moved to Sedona in 2011, in October of 2011. And how they went down Interstate 10, which hugs the southern border, basically, of the United States and certainly of Texas, and how that wasn't the right way to go, but Spirit told them to go through Houston. So they went due south, went down towards the Mexican border, came through Houston, and I was like seeing this whole thing was happening, and Shekinah kept telling them, why are you going that way? Why are you going that way? Well, it turns out that on the very day that they were passing through I-10, I was walking 18 miles along I-10 after this crazy night I had, and it was just all coming in about how the coordinates of our soul tribe had to be close in the proximity at the time to pull our energy together. And so these synchronicities, such as your sobriety date, Morgan's birth date, Soulogy's origination date, these things are there, like these 1111s and 5555s. So I think we're going to see more and more of that. We need to pay attention to it because it's telling us, it's our higher selves leaving us a cookie crumb trail home is what it is.
That's what I thought. I thought it's some kind of significant thing, even if my physical brain doesn't know what it means, the spirit within me will have a download of some kind. It tells me what little things that are not coincidental. They're actually in sync with the universe. And as I sink more into myself to unwind and uncover my shadows and send light upon myself, forgiveness and love upon myself, then I realize when I have, something that was said today earlier, if there was no judgment whatsoever of myself, then I wouldn't even need forgiveness. I would just already be
okay.
fine.
That's a fantastic point, and I think that energy is here because our sister Amanda Lawrence, and I don't know if you've ever checked out Amanda Lawrence, Lorence. She's part of this energetic tribe too. I can't really explain it, but she's out of Glastonbury over at the tour.
Yeah, right. I heard her this morning, and she told me that, and I said, "Oh,
okay, so you saw that." Okay,
I saw that early this morning. Then I went to the Course in Miracles group and was trying to, see why I keep going to the Course in Miracles for that unwinding of the egoic brain. 20 years study in this book, just 20 years off and on, off and on, off and on. It's so mind-boggling sometimes, but when you're then in the divine mind, it all makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what I loved about it? I knew it was going to be good. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched most of it. It said debunking forgiveness. I remember having these conversations, which were the root of Soul Speak 5D 3 years ago with Morgan when I met her. We would talk on the phone. Because let me just tell you, she never let me see her on video for almost a year and a half. Okay, believe it or not.
What?
And that was she sent me like 3 pictures the whole time. I sent her like 3 a day. But anyway, I remember Morgan telling me in the first few weeks, as I was, when you get to that point where you finally meet somebody you can actually talk this stuff over with, and I never had that. And so I remember her telling me, forgiveness doesn't even exist. And I'm like, yeah, at that level, we're going to get to a point where forgiveness is not even, and that's, I think, where we're at. I think we're actually at a point now where we're realizing that
everything's perfect. Nothing to forgive.
Signed up for this thing. This is like a mission. There is no, what was that quote I posted today? I found a meme, and it said, it was Carl Jung. And he said that it's not about right or wrong. It's about sense and nonsense. We're somewhere like 0 points in between sense and nonsense, not right and wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's either sense or nonsense. You know what I mean? So
no, that's interesting. I like that phrase.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle. Yeah, because some stuff, you want to wonder if you're actually okay with it, or you're still judging it, or you're just fine with it now. And I'm like, there's some stuff that now it's like, I don't know why I'm just fine with it now.
Yeah.
I'm just fine with it. Like my own history and all my own feelings of, this partial book I've started to write and wondering if I'm ever going to finish it. Then deciding I'm a better storyteller than I am a writer, so I think I'll make it an audiobook. And I'm getting all these ideas.
You can do it on. Yeah. Man, I'm getting chilled again.
I'm thinking about writing an audiobook because in 1999 I was driving home from a book study class, like a church book study class. Can't remember the name of the book we were studying as a group. It's about 12 of us, and we're, going to the Unity Center in San Diego, and I go to one person's house once a week and do a book study. And I was driving home, and I heard this name of a book came through my mind, and I could even see the cover of it. It said, "On My Way to Myself," and it had a big capital S for the self. It said, "On My Way to Myself, the life of a spiritual stripper." And it was about stripping the core, naked to the core, the ego, so that you could be your whole authentic beauty. You could just be your whole self. And then I never really wrote the whole book. I've written chapters here and there. It's all kind of mixed up, and some poetry and this and that. But when I tell the stories of my life to anyone, we can laugh and cry and relate and fall in together in such a way that there's a healing that happens between the two people talking or whatever, because people can relate to the putting the fun back in the word dysfunctional with a dysfunctional family tree and stuff, and the life that I went through in the years where I was feeling lost, where I was feeling uncertain. Is April good enough? Is April worthy? Is April, really doing love with no agenda or not? Like questioning, am I really doing love to the best of my ability in this very moment with no agenda whatsoever. And the mind wants to question the spirit to find out if you are or not. But when you just tell the stories of things that have taken place to make you want to see your shadow and to make you want to put the shadow to rest and let the spirit be the forefronter, the one that guides your day every day, you find commonalities with all these people on the planet that's very healing and connecting. And so when that book title came through, I thought I was actually going to write the book. Then after my first Facebook Live and some other times when I've shared in a group of people, you know, and exaggerated on purpose, my darkest victim and my wholest holy self, then they think it's very funny the way I can do that, that I can exaggerate the victim like a little actress and then rise above it and show the wholest holiness I can find within myself. And I think I should maybe write the book as an audio book because I'm a better storyteller of my history.
Yeah, or maybe that's what happened to me. Because I got it like 3 or 4 times. Plus, I had people telling me in the early years, they would say, "Write a book, write a book, write a book," and I would start but I got to the point where I realized that just doing this, what we're doing right now, okay, because we're no longer in a linear 3D paradigm, we're in this quantum unknown, explosive paradigm, that these conversations, just doing this, is actually permeating out into the entire holy grid and the holy matrix. I mean, it's actually getting out there.
When you said that with those 3 people on that interview, I was like, oh, no wonder I need to speak it, not try to write it. Because when you're sharing with another person, they're listening with their whole heart. If they're present to you and you're present to what's happening, you can feel the energy field. Someone's holding a space of listening with their entire heart center. They're not listening with an energy field of what am I going to say next, or how am I going to respond to that, or do I agree or disagree? No, I'm just listening. And there's something very healing in that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the conversation we had the other day, even though I did all the talking. I was just all excited about being on Facebook and going, hey, I get to tell somebody what this is I've been feeling all this lifetime. At different points in my lifetime, feeling this energy field that takes hold of me and carries me to higher ground. And I go, oh, it was so good. Then when I watched it back, oh my God, I was cracking up at myself. I was laughing so hard at myself. I was like, April, you are really so. It just made me feel like, no wonder, like the wondrous childlike energy of my own self. I just fell in love with myself all over again. I was like, oh, it didn't embarrass me at all. I just laughed and laughed and laughed.
And
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you know what? And I've observed this with people. All right, and what it is, it's not like that appreciation and love is coming from the external or from the people watching. It's coming from yourself for yourself. That's what you're describing, and I think that's another surface characteristic of this new energy that we're in. Like for instance, what we said about forgiveness. I think what's happening is there's a level of appreciation for ourselves. Like I said yesterday on one of the shows, I figured out eventually that our free will didn't start when we were born here. It was exercised at some level up there and made the choice to come down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like when you said you jumped in, when you were talking about how you just jumped right in. And I thought, oh, me and my brother Todd have that in common.
I don't know which one went first.
Because maybe I might have been asking to go back to this playing field, this movie field, to learn forgiveness. So I had to get all these little rough patches in the road to make sure I'd learn forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then to find out everything was perfect and I don't need forgiveness.
Well, I think
it was all pre-designed for perfection.
Yeah, I think we knew, and all we got to do is just close our eyes and go back. Tim, I'm not even talking about this life. I'm talking about other ones, and some of the perceived brutality in that moment, the terror, the traumas, the horrific stuff. But now, to me, it's converted. It's like, okay, wait a minute. We chose to come down here. We knew there was a mission. We knew there was a plan to expand ourselves and therefore expand the collective. we're fucking soldiers, man. We're soldiers, you know. I mean,
That's what I love when you said the human is the hero. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Here to let the dark energies play their roles out,
yeah,
and rise above them like a big triumphant hero, like you said.
Well, can you imagine?
It's interesting.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, and this is the reality. You know, the reality is we're sitting up there, and you know, maybe you and me or whoever, right, said, okay, I'm gonna go take a fucking beating, you know, over life after life after life after life, and I'm gonna rise from the ashes like a phoenix and represent what they're gonna call the light. And then you got these other people, our brothers and sisters, who say, okay, I'm going to go take what we're going to call the dark, and I'm going to be a mean son of a bitch, and I'm going to do this and do that and do this. But you know what? Both of them are
equal.
The same. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, they're equal. They're both needed.
From that level. And I think where the forgiveness part is really going to come in big time is in regard to our perception of what is that darkness, you know, and who represents that darkness. And it's going to be very important for us to equate ourselves with the worst thing out there in our mind.
Right.
Because it's part of us.
Because if it's all God, then the darkness is God too.
Yes.
Playing a certain role to help us.
That's right.
That's what I started noticing. And I was like, oh, April, you jumped right in. When you were talking about how you felt like you just jumped in not knowing what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then when I somewhere along the line, I did a past life regression. And the lady had told me different things about myself that I knew she really wouldn't have known unless she really was tapped in somehow. And she told me that the husband I married in this lifetime, I actually knew in World War II. And so I jumped back in real fast in comparison to what she's known of other people, to like stay on the other side of the veil for a little longer than that. But to come back after I'd met him when he was like 19 and in World War II. And then I came back and married him, and he's 38 years older than me. And it's a whole long story about how that happened. But I jumped back into the fire right in the middle of a war zone with the race riots and fighting for my life as a little tiny child, and still feeling love and wondering how come I wasn't feeling hatred, but I was feeling love, even though I let this hatred unfold upon me as a little tiny thing at 3 or 4 years old. So I just didn't really quite understand it all. But I didn't need to understand it all. I just knew that if it's all perfect to design a purpose for me, a purpose for me to unfold here on the earth, then there's no reason to worry about or to say that it was a negative thing, which we talked about the last time I was on here.
You know, if you read some of the intel that's come out over the last few years. Let me get this right. So like when they're talking about, you know, what we're seeing in the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And they're talking about how from a higher perspective, and they're saying, okay, look, you know, we got to roll this out carefully. We've got to disclose this at a certain pace. And the reason is less that it's going to shock the human being psyche and brain and mind and all that, more because we have to raise our consciousness to a certain point of you know, beyond forgiveness and so on, so that when these people come out and it's spoken and put out there as to what was being done and has been done, that we won't go and lynch everybody, because that's still feeding the animal, the lower vibrational illusion. We have to be literally Jesus, Magdalene. We have to be merciful. We have to reach around and embrace these brothers and sisters. And I've always thought that was more reflective of what really is happening here, because the emphasis put on, I don't want to say put on the light, but it's putting us to the maximum. It's expanding compassion, basically.
Mm-hmm. So that's what made me wonder. We don't all awaken until we all awaken together. Yeah. And I thought, oh, that's why this Soulogy platform is helping people see that they don't have to claim they're not awake. they can claim they are awake and then see what happens. Just got to claim it, own it, bring it in. Let both sides of your own darkness and your light merge together as one unit and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to squash the darkness and pretend that you never did it or it never happened.
Not now, especially.
Right.
Not now. It may not last as long now, but if you're ignoring or denying something in this energy, it's going to beat the living hell out of you. And it may only feel like, it may only be like 2 hours on the linear scale, but it's going to be a massive energetic quantum beating.
Well, that's why I used to call that the cosmic 2x4. I don't want to get smacked in the head anymore with the cosmic 2x4.
I used to call it the dump truck, and I used to see it too. This is back in the early days when I was on the streets and stuff. Humility, humility, humility. I mean, that's what was being beaten to me over, and I'm like, okay, man, okay, man, okay, man. And after 2-3 years, I was like, Jesus, okay, whatever I need to do, I surrender. And I would make one little thought. Like one little thing would step out of line, like, that son of a bitch that did this to me. And I'd see this big dump truck just appear over my head and just pour a bunch of shit on me. But people are talking about instant manifestation now in that same regard.
Interesting. So right.
You got to be real careful about, be vigilant about, owning that field, your thoughts, what you carry forward.
Right, tapping into the magic so you can carry forward, this higher consciousness and let it ripple out to whoever it touches.
Yeah, and it happens naturally,
Yeah,
that's another.
That's what I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm starting to see. Like, again, when I first met Morgan, she's taught me about the morphic fields. Like
what?
The morphic fields. So like the example she used, like, okay, so like there's an energy out there in regard there it could be anything. It could be alcoholism, it could be sobriety, it could be some type of like a genius, a creative genius invention in a certain product line or something like that. So you go into the morphic field and you align with the morphic field and you bring down the information you need. She told me about this, right? A long time ago. Yeah, she's been doing this for a long time. So what I'm saying is, now what I'm seeing is what you're talking about. What I'm seeing is it's effortless. It's like we have these conversations. April Lloyd comes on last week. She relays her experience to everybody, and anyone that comes into the visual and the audio of that actually is into some way that's happening, like on a automatic pilot, is aligning with that energy. Now they step away, they go about their business, they go down to the store, and that energy is in their field, and somebody comes up next to him and maybe just smiles and says hello, and that's passed. I'm not saying it's exactly what's happening. Yeah. I'm not saying I know what's happening, but that's what I see happening, at least from where I'm sitting in my universe, that this is actually not having. That's where the books, we get away from the books thing, is because we don't need that instruction. We just need to be exposed to this open,
to each other,
open-minded, heart-based energy. Yeah.
Exposed to the full heart of each other, because it's the full heart of God when it's exposed.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to be. When the full heart of God is exposed through anybody, myself, whoever I'm talking to, the other person, many people, whatever, it feels more correct rather than trying to study something or learn something from a book and then doing all this stuff to practice whatever the book tells you to do, like as if you don't already know what's best for yourself. And then you get all caught up in trying, and then it doesn't, and then you go, I don't even feel like doing this anymore, and you throw the book aside.
And it's almost like the reading part was part of the program, like, because if you really think about it, and I used to love reading books. I mean, I had 2,000 or 3,000 books over my lifetime, but the thing is if you think about it, especially if you're looking for some type of instruction or something, because it's internalizing this process. It's occupying the monkey mind. I mean, I'm not saying there's not some good things about it, but I'll tell you, even in those years I was reading, the 15 or 20 years, when I would read a book, I was more like a speed reader. I would go through things real fast, and I would pick up, I guess, like pick up the energy of it, versus reading the entire thing word for word all the way through it. I think that was maybe part of the program. I don't think that there's any way to hold back how we actually transfer our energy. That's the energy of truth. It's through our eye contact. It's through the way we look at each other. It's through our body language. It's not the words. It's not the words. The words are the last thing responsible.
Well, that's one of the things I would tell the young couples when they come to get massage. Is I would tell them, you cannot reason with an unreasonable person. Yeah. So, what sometimes can work in a new blooming relationship, young people getting together and getting married and stuff, and I tell them, if you just get a energy field that says, hey, honey, this conversation is not going very well for either one of us right now. Why don't you go lay down on the bed or the table, and I'll rub your back, and we'll come back to talking about this tomorrow. Because the field of touch can get the person who's unreasonable back to some compassionate, more open-hearted energy, and then the conversation will go better. Rather than when there's a conflict between the young couple trying to continue to talk about it when they can't find a meeting ground. So I would tell them, just use touch, because it's a very powerful way of sharing love. Just tell them, honey, this conversation is just not going to go very well for either one of us right now. You go lay down. I'm going to rub love all over your back, and we'll talk about it tomorw.
I love that idea, man.
I used to teach that all the time to all the young couples.
I love putting my hands on Morgan's back and going for it. It's like you said,
energy field.
Everything just, you can communicate. I can communicate everything I want with my hands, and I actually receive from the portals in her on her back or on her body or whatever. But yeah. Right. So how do you do that? How do you do that couple meditation? Do you have like two massage tables and you're doing them at the same time?
No. Usually I would have them one person on the table and go in the room and show the couple some moves with massage, and then let them do it. Let them massage their partner, and then switch places.
Very cool.
So teaching them about chakras, teaching them about the experiences. I would tell them stuff like, your heart just experiences. Your mind wants to judge an experience good or not good enough, whatever, your brain. But the heart just experiences. So it's always expanding. Every experience is given to you as a gift to expand you. And so I would tell them, you got to remember that if you just allow energy to flow through your heart energy, love will handle it. And you can use your hands better than your words, because the words take the person into judgment.
The more you talk, the more you fuck it up. That's my saying.
Yeah. So I would teach stuff like that. Like, and then the experiences of who you are at your heart can handle everything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even be given to you if you couldn't handle it.
They say that, music is the universal language, and I love music.
It is too.
Huge part of my life. But what you're talking about, and so like the more you talk about it, whatever it is, I'm telling you, at least for me, the more it's effed up. And if you're messaging and texting, it's even worse. It's
because people can't get your point.
That's like having your hands tied behind your back and being in a fight. Not that
trying to express yourself.
Well, even if you're discussing something, I don't know, something that's non-personal, or you just can't get what you need. I was talking to the streaming platform company that we're working with, that we're partnering with today, and I was on the phone with the guy, and then he had the techie guys over here, and I'm like, dude, let's just get on Zoom, and that way we can see each other's faces, we can hear everybody clearly. The more frequencies you add, the better off it is, period.
Yeah, and I never really understood that, because I didn't get into anything about the phone except for a phone call and text for a long time. I finally put Facebook on it and other things. But it took me forever to match up with this idea of technology. I'm still better at it one-on-one with a person than technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think would be great, because you're so open with I think you set a great example too with your modality. and that and I don't remember exactly where it came from, but I remember seeing something that you wrote, or maybe it was in the first part of the show last week, and you said, "I want to give this away. I want to give this away. I want to just give it away." And this is a big thing for the transition that we're going through. I think it'd be a great idea to have like a demonstration, man. Like set up a camera, have your massage table, and you just do your thing, whether it's a couple or an individual, or maybe we're the other part of the couple, the audience is, and you have somebody there and you're showing everybody what you show people when you're giving them a personal session. That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of neat. Yeah, that'd be like teaching. That'd be a little teaching tool for massage.
Yeah.
That I could just put, one of my friends on the table and do some work. Mm-hmm. But I do like to remember that we all came to Earth with a soft spot on top of our head. And so if we think about it from the crown chakra, they say we're crowned in glory just for being willing to wear a body. And there's an innocence of all of us, no matter what. And I try to remind people that runs all the way to the soles of your feet. This energy of light coming right through the soft spot at the top of the head, innocent, crowned in glory just for being willing to wear a body and to walk through this movie field called your life, and to let your life be God's life and roll it out from that space of everything is meant to expand me. Nothing would be given me if I couldn't handle it. And love is always working through everything that comes into my atmosphere. Even if my mind sometimes thinks some of the things in my atmosphere were negative, they never really were.
That's right.
They were always for me. They never were negative. My mind was thinking they were negative, recalling a family member, mentally ill or something, and it wasn't ever true.
Yeah. 64 viewers, 46 reactions, 111 comments. You can't make this shift up.
Oh, that's good. But anyway, so I just think that's the truth.
Yeah.
So I use the things like you said, like I told you, I have my own metaphysical philosophy about the body parts. So like the shoulders represent that you're shouldering nothing alone. There's angels so well received in each and every one of us. They're shouldering everything with us, through us, for us, as us. Our shoulders represent that. And our hands represent handling everything that comes before us with love. And our elbows are about being able to be flexible and to move with the changes that come into your own atmosphere for you to handle, for you to give love to, whatever that might be. Our knees are really interesting too, because when I've done things, for instance, that's where I would get some pain sometimes, is in my knees. And I knew it was because the knees represent moving forward. Like even when you see the people with a bell rings and they bow down on the rug 4 times a day as soon as they hear bell ring, and they put their knees on the carpet and then their third eye. It's almost as if you're feeling that energetically. It's like bow to the mighty creator, put your third eye on the rug, and then get up and step forward into what you just prayed for, what you just asked for, what you just felt like you could move forward into. And there's a symbolism about the knees, about moving forward. So the only time I've ever hurt my knees is when I was taking a step in this worldly world that was not a forward movement. For instance, someone's getting evicted, and instead of letting them have that eviction from their apartment and find their lesson in that, go get them another apartment. Run out and find another apartment and rent it for them. Evicted again. And so I always ended up hurting my knees when I did something that was stepping in the way, because my mind was thinking that's going to be no good for that person, that they're living homeless. And I'll run out and find them another apartment and rent it for them, right? And then I hurt my knees because it's not moving forward to do the same old insanity over and over and over again and expect a different result. See?
That's right.
So interestingly enough,
that's the first rule of the road in the ascension. When you wake up,
Yeah.
I keep doing this shit and this thing keeps happening the same way.
Right. So, I knew that the knees represent that.
What about the feet? What about the feet?
I love the feet. The feet tell their whole, almost every time I rub people's feet, it almost tells their whole story and everything they've been walking through. And the soles of the feet, well, of course, in reflexology, the soles of our feet have a reflexology point to everywhere else in the body anyway. Yeah. But in addition to that, if you take it in a healthy vibrational thought form of this soul already know which way it was going to walk before it came to earth. So I don't have to worry about my soul's destiny. God's got that. You know, like I know God's got that for me, through me, as me. And so the soles of my feet are just a place to like remind myself that. And I'll tell people when I'm rubbing their heels, feeling everything heals everything. Nowhere did it ever say only the bad feelings are going to pass. Everything's going to pass through this system called your form while you have a form. So feeling everything heals everything. Ignoring your feelings won't help you in your energy and motion, your emotions, to be able to be balanced while chaos goes on the planet. So if you allow it to move through, it moves pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always tell them that feeling everything heals everything. We rub their heels real good, check in on the soles of their feet, let them know their soul is beautiful, is just absolutely magnificent, and that it already has a predestined journey. And if you really listen to your feet, you'll know which way to walk. You'll know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're knowing, your mind, your divine mind will know. Not your brain mind, your divine mind. And then it just begins to unfold.
And what about the hands?
Yeah, I love the hands. Remember, I just told that. If you let love roll through without any judgment about the experiences, you'll handle everything with love. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll just like automatic pilot, handle everything with love.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. And
So
our lower back represents support, huh?
No, go ahead. The lower back.
Our lower back, yeah, it's about support, financial support, physical support, emotional support. So remember the other day I had a little tiny backache when I first came on because I was almost going to cancel and not support my whole self because I didn't want to go on camera because I know I'm a really heavy girl. And then I thought I got to go on and support myself anyway. And not judge myself for that. Like, let that just be. It's okay. And so my back started hurting because I wasn't going to do it. I was going to cancel because I was afraid of the other people out there looking at the Facebook, judging me for my weight. And when I realized I'm the only one judging me for my weight, I went on the TV, on the thing with you. and then the support problem went away in my back. It just healed completely. Didn't hurt no more at all.
Do you
isn't that interesting?
Do you ever have like visions when you're doing the massages? Do you ever have like higher selves pop in, or divine essences, or angels, or anything?
Yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday? I forget what day. Tuesday. Tuesday, a woman I know that's a very high master, she came to get her massage, and I don't know if I actually saw it, but I heard my voice telling her the beings I could feel within her, you know, because she's a different energy field than me. And her energy field is very much connected to some of the things I see on your show where people are talking about star type people, other planets, energies, blue orb lights and stuff. And I could feel that within her, that she relates to real easily. That's part of who she is. And somehow my voice was being used to tell her how perfect that is for her, how perfect she is with all those parts of herself. Like I could hear myself telling her how perfect she is with all those many parts of herself, rather than her wondering, is it her imagination? Is it real? Is she gone crazy? Is she okay? Is she, she wasn't wondering that anymore. I could feel it within her. It's all perfect. And she's empath. So she's very sensitive to energy fields. When people are upset, she can get a stomach ache or get upset also. It's not even her own upset, but she knew sometimes it's not her own upset, but she still has to find a way to stand like feeling complete and fully grounded while she's around all this shifting energy on the planet. And I could hear myself telling her that, but I didn't know why really, because I wasn't thinking up here. It's just coming through. Hands in the body's coming through. And I was wondering about it. Somebody's trying to call me, but I have to decline it because I don't know how to cut that off is there a way to cut that off so nobody can disturb me when I'm talking to you?
It happens to me too.
It only happens for a second. I just cut it off. Somebody's trying to call me while I'm on the line. But yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of energies on the planet, and then in reality, they all meet in the same place in our holy oneness.
Yeah.
We're already whole in one, but we have a tendency to forget that. And there's where some healing's starting to take place. We won't be forgetting anymore that we're already whole and complete.
Yeah. What about like
and
when
I think it's interesting.
what about when the kahuna comes over, the one that was coming over the other day, last week? Do you ever receive information when you're putting your hands on someone? Do you ever receive information for yourself?
Well, I think because we're all one, whatever he learns for him, I also get to learn for me.
Yeah, I got you.
See what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm learning information for him. Like we learned a trick for him the first time he was here. We learned a trick for him that was all about taking his ankle bones and rubbing them real good like this before he goes to do like 4 hours in the when he wants to do landscaping, because it actually, when I do this to his ankles, you can feel his energy field almost go back in time, like it's a clock on his ankle bones. His ankle bones are almost like a clock. And when you rub them real good and get them really relaxed so his feet are real flexible and his soul's real grounded, then he can go back in time and be like a 35-year-old strong man and do his little 4-hour stint of heavy-duty landscaping here in Hawaii, where these weeds grow faster than we can imagine. And when he doesn't do that, if he doesn't turn back the clock and be like he was in his health when he was 35, he could get very tired out there because he's in his 60s now. So he needs to do it. They showed me a little trick for him. The angels showed me. Just get him to do that before he goes out walking on the land, because he's really planted in the earth as a kahuna. And he needs to be like he was when he was in his strength as a really sturdy tree, like when he was about 35 years old and he could do landscaping for 8 hours straight and not even break a sweat or be tired. So they showed me that as a little trick on him the first time I was here. He's been using it. He said it's working.
That's pretty cool.
It takes his body back to like a 35-year-old real strong Hawaiian, you know, how he's been his whole life, instead of feeling like tired at 65 trying to do yard work. So the little things.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to see if I can tap into my body and figure something out like that.
Yeah, I think as the ascension's happening, there's a possibility that we're actually going to go in our more youthful vibration, no matter what age we're at now. I think it's a possibility. Yeah.
No, I think
it feels like there's and I call it euthanizing. We're euthanizing.
Oh, I love that, man.
As we bring the planet to her more balance, and our left and right hand hemispheres of our brain, the male and female side of ourselves, that creative and analytical side of ourselves, you know, the loving energy of the flow and the ability to take action. So that's a male and female energy. We could bring the left and right hand hemispheres of our brain into so much balance that they work together for our good, which will help our planet, might help our planet, Mother Gaia, to get more balance and stop having all these storms from being so mad at us. You know, we've been taking advantage of it, raping the earth with, and all these plastics and all this stuff. And Mother Gaia is maybe a little pissed off. But as we correct that, do our own corrections of that, it's a possibility that we'll all be euthanizing while the planet's rebirthing itself.
Yeah, I think it's very, very possible.
So I think I want to hold that idea and just see if it works.
I believe it will. Just a matter of us accepting it, you know, because we're
said everything we believe in our BS belief system comes true. So we better clean up the BS belief system.
Yeah. Don't
believe the old stuff. Let's believe everything brand new. Like today's a brand new day, and we can believe a brand new way. Why not? Today's a new day. I don't need to believe what I believed yesterday. What good is that going to do me?
So, do you have any type of do you do any type of affirmation or prayer or
Well, you know, I've taught it a lot, and I do use it on myself. It's a wake up meditation and then a sleep meditation. So in the morning, I like to visualize that vortex of energy coming up through my feet, my hips, my knees, like red, powerful, vibrant energy, the blood red rivers of my body, connected to the earth, like the sacred sap to a tree, and get myself really grounded and let that energy move through the chakras with a power, like an energy field. And I do that one in the morning, and I bring it through all the colors of the rainbow, and I start with the root chakra, waking myself up to know that whatever I'm going to walk into today, God's going to handle it for me, through me, as me, and take whatever action I can. And it gives me a feeling of exuberance and zeal for life, and a feeling of abundant flow, so I won't be tired when I want to be awake. And then in the night, I go the opposite direction. In the night, when I lay down in the bed, a lot of times I put my left hand on my heart and my right hand on my desires. And I'll go left up to God. Everything's turning out A-okay and perfectly all right. The desire chakra is below your belly button. It's like an umbilical cord to all of humanity, where all we really want is to give love and receive love in its perfect form, in its most innocence and its beauty. It looks like housing, car, money, job, right? There are desires, but really it's to give love and receive love in its purest form, a creative new idea every day. So in the night, I start with the white light at the top of my head, and I tell myself, today is already done. Obviously, I've done the very best that I can today, or I would have already done better than I did. So I must have done my very best. And through the innocence at the top of my head, I let this beautiful, innocent, clearing white light smooth out my face and clear away my eyes and soften the sacred safety of silence behind my face. And then I move that into my throat chakra and tell myself that I'm speaking the meditations of my heart, that I'm letting my heart come to rest now. And I do this meditation that takes all the chakras down to real, real, real quiet. So when my head hits the pillow, I can go to sleep real fast.
Wow.
I don't like to stay awake thinking. I can think tomorrow. Today's already done. So I tell myself that. It's a type of meditation that I speak to myself. And people always wonder how come, that I can have a little bit of a stressful life and deal with it all day. But when I go to bed at night, my mind goes blank and I go to sleep. I think it's because I've been doing that my whole life. Remember, I told you I used to hide behind the couch and sleep and feel a presence holding me? Because even in the chaos, I could sleep if I didn't let myself think about it. If I didn't let my mind absorb into it and worry about it, then I knew God would take care of me and I could fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of my survival skills.
Yeah.
To teach myself that.
That's applicable. Yeah. Well, you didn't carry the thoughts forward.
I don't want to carry today into tomorrow. What good is that?
No.
That's going to keep me trapped. That's going to keep me so trapped that I can't manage my life. This life that I've been given.
LaDonna Hilton.
Says, that's my good friend.
Hilton. She says, April gave me an affirmation almost 5 years ago when I became ill. Every little cell is oh so very well. It helps me make it through my day. I'm so grateful for her and her work in loving light.
I've known my sweet LaDonna since I was 20.
Yeah.
We met in DC, and we were 20-year-olds. We were roommates for a while.
Yeah. I bet you got some stories.
Yeah. She should go on there and tell her stories. But I knew her before she had her daughter, and she has a beautiful daughter who's also a massage therapist. And I met LaDonna before her daughter was born. We had a great time raising each other up as sisters on the planet.
Wow. Where's she live now?
Now she lives in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, that's a nice place. A little humid.
And she did come to Hawaii and visit me. Her and her daughter came out here to visit me.
She says it's very true and that we were wild! ! Yeah,
that was in our
light worker. I don't know a light worker that wasn't wild, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was in our darker days, but we were having fun with that.
Yeah, pure wild goodness. Pure goodness.
Yeah. That was all right.
All right. Yeah. Cool. We'll collaborate again soon.
Try that at night. Try to do that little clearing, like innocence, soft spot, beauty, opening at the top of your head at night, and just washing away the entire day, because this entire day will be done when it gets to nighttime, and you'll just say to yourself, I've done the very best that I can because God did it through me, and there ain't nothing God can't do, so it's already time to go to sleep now.
Beautiful.
And get your head to go empty.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to definitely have to connect in the physical when Morgan gets here.
We'll have a lot of fun. I have some really great friends for you to meet or listen to music with. All the musicians over here. We've got some really great musicians.
Wow. No,
this
you're
island.
you're
We
on
have
the
some
Big
fun.
Island. You're on the Big
Yes,
Island, right? Okay.
I'm near Hilo. Kona's
Yeah.
on the other side of the island.
There's
You fly.
I know 2 or 3 people over there, so yeah, we'll have to figure
And
something out.
I have an Airbnb extra bedroom. So as long
Oh
as you let
yeah.
me know you're coming out, yeah, you'll have a place to sleep right in the queen size bed in there, and the massage room's next to that. And
Very,
oh, you
very.
know what I found out yesterday was interesting. You know, talking about the other house that I want to buy that has a
Yeah,
4
yeah.
apartments and a house. And I found out from someone who came here to help me with some work around here that there's a guy in my church that I don't know if he still does it for a living. He might be retired, but he's a grant writer. He knows how to write for a grant so I can have my
Mm.
little space for the peaceful passing. So I'm going to talk to him on Sunday. He told me who
Oh
it was.
wow,
I said, really? And he said, yeah, he's a grant writer, April. He can help you get that house. I said, okay.
that's excellent. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Nothing but superabundance energy coming to us all. I feel
Right.
it. Feel a lot of alignment. So
Yeah,
maybe
a lot of
I'm
alignment.
I'm working out
Oh,
April. I'm working out April right now. April. I'm
oh, good.
working out April, so I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, when is Morgan coming back? What's her flight date? Do you know?
No. It's kind
Not
of
yet.
open. Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably 5 to 4 to 8 weeks. Didn't really know.
Okay.
The
I
grandbaby
might,
hasn't come yet. Yeah.
okay. I might be leaving town to go to San Diego in May, but I would be back in June.
Yeah.
But I'm not positive. We found out we have a sister that's 33 years old that got adopted when I pushed my sister to run in and do an appeal for this little girl's life when I found out my father had another daughter.
Wow.
So my pushed my sister. She went to court. She pitched a bitch. The kid was then put in foster care, and she doesn't remember meeting my father except for a few visits, like supervised visits through the court. So now she's 33 and has a little boy, and she's outside of Vegas. So my sister from Texas is going to go meet her in person. A little brother who has her same mom and same
Wow.
dad, instead of just my dad and different mom, he's going to go from Virginia and meet her, and they're begging me to come from Hawaii to go outside Vegas and meet her.
You got to
So
go now.
they already got their flight tickets for May to go meet this beautiful
You got.
woman and I've been actually talking to her online now that we did this Facebook Live, so we can see each other's face while we talk.
Oh, very cool. See?
Yeah.
This just
Yeah.
keeps expanding. The love keeps expanding. Well, I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for all of you, all of your brothers and sisters. That's a great
Yeah.
thing.
Uniting with people we didn't know we had. It's beautiful.
That's right. I'll hit you up.
Okay.
And we'll put another one on in April and do some other, talk about doing some other collaborations. Thank you so
Okay.
much for sharing space with us today
Bye.
again, honoring us with
It
your
was
presence.
so nice to let everybody see us again. Bye, everybody.